Hi guys, Holly Lynn, Psychic Medium, coming in today to bring you a medium session. I have my dear friend Kelly with me. We're going to be contacting some loved ones of hers that have passed over. Kelly, you want to say hi?
Hello.
So Kelly's had readings before, but for those of you who have never had a reading or understand what takes place during this, essentially what we're going to do is call in loved ones who have passed over. I will give you the option, Kelly, if there is someone specific that you're wanting to contact and connect with today, then I will try to connect with them. If there's not someone specific, we can just kind of call in spirit and see who it is that may be coming through to give you a message. During our mediumship readings, I can bring in your loved ones by name. However, I will share there are times that possibly they're not ready to come forward, or they're in transition, or they're in a space that I don't operate out of. Everything we do is of love and light, of our highest good, and I connect everything through God. So understand that I'm not going to share with you, oh no, I can't bring so-and-so through because they're in darkness. I'm just going to say I'm not tapping in, let's move forward, okay? I also want you to understand that there are times when people come and there is someone specific they're wanting to connect with. However, they don't tell me that. So whoever needs to come forward and deliver the message is who comes forward. And I've had people very disappointed at the end because they didn't get the message from the person they were wanting to receive the message for, which is why sometimes I say, hey, give me the first name, we'll move right into them, okay? So I just wanted to keep that in mind. During the session, I do evidential mediumship, which means I'm going to be giving you factors, identifications, things about the person's passed over, possibly about you, family related, things that only you would know, which provides evidence that your loved one is with us. A lot of times I've had sitters say, well, no, they wouldn't know that because they'd already passed over. Well, when I bring through examples of life events that may have happened after our loved ones have passed over, that is just validation, confirmation that they're actually physically with you in spirit. So they're witnessing these events that have occurred within your life, okay? So we also have one other thing I want to cover is psychic amnesia. A lot of times during sessions, our sitters, you become very overwhelmed with emotion because there are validating factors and proof that's bringing them through. Then there's times where you're like, no, I don't remember that. No, that doesn't sound familiar. I always tell everybody, it is not my job to decipher what I share, okay? My job as the medium during mediumship is working for spirit. So any signs, symbols, messages, feelings that I receive, I'm going to share it with you because you're going to understand it. It was meant for you to hear, even if in this moment you don't understand or it doesn't make sense to you, at some point it will, okay? Before we begin, do you have any questions regarding what we're doing today?
I do not.
Okay, so to begin, we always like to open up our energy. And I do want to share for you first timers, prior to any session that I begin with anyone, no matter what it is, I clear my space to begin with. I always sit quietly with God for 5 to 10 minutes, opening myself up to receive messages only of highest good from my highest good and only of love and light. So I did all of that before we began. I always create a safe space for anyone that comes in. So I've already created that bubble of protection surrounding you as well before our session ever begins. I always suggest you do that, and the most important thing is to be open. If you are closed off, it is going to be a little bit more difficult to get through, but as long as your energy is open and you're accepting, it's going to go pretty good. So, okay, are you ready to get started?
Yes.
All right, so to begin with, what I'm just going to have you do is just state your first and last name and today's date.
Kelly Carney.
Okay. And today's date?
October 16th, 2022.
Okay. And then Kelly, is there someone specific or something specific you're hoping to connect with today?
No. I would just like to see who comes through.
Okay. And I will let you guys know too, I get quiet a lot, and when I'm quiet, I'm writing because my messages, when they come through, I write, I do a lot of scribbles. So that's just me getting the messages onto paper to be able to deliver. So just bear with me for a moment. So, and I have to say this, we are friends, so I know a lot of stuff about you.
Right.
And Kelly and I have done mediumship sessions before, and I've tried to call through people within your family and whatnot, and each time it's been different. So I also kind of like to make this a disclaimer, even though I do know some information, like the information's delivered differently. So I'm seeing whatever I see, I'm going to share, even if it's something you may think, well, she already knew that, but there's a reason it's coming through. And when we do this, it's like playing Pictionary and charades, and they're showing me things intentionally. So what I want to begin with, I'm going to skip here and move over here. So I knew Kelly was coming, and this is what happens with spirit. They will connect with me before the sitter arrives. I've had a strong presence of a female with me prior to you arriving today, and I'm not really sure what June or Ruby would stand for, if that's connected to a female who's passed over, but that is what they've been showing me. Does that mean anything to you?
My father's mother was born in June.
Okay.
And her name is Opal.
Okay.
And I believe there's a Ruby in the family as well.
Okay. And I do want to let you know I did feel grandmother energy, and I'm gonna say this with discernment is how I want to present. I know that the initial feeling immediately earlier today, what I got from this is there wasn't always kindness, there wasn't always love. But as we know, when we transition over, we still can grow and change and work through things. And I feel like such heaviness in my chest with a lot of regret. I see very stubborn. She believed she was right because that was what she believed. And no one could tell her differently.
Mm-hmm.
It did not matter how things went, how they shifted. Like, she was correct in what she believed, and her beliefs were her system. I do feel like too there was medication prior to passing, that she had been on medication. I'm getting symbol for that. I just get a lot of heaviness into my chest as well. And she's literally saying stubborn old mule. She's also pointing out your grandfather. I feel like he was quiet. I feel like she was the roost runner. Even if he agreed or disagreed, he may not have ever been able to really vocalize it.
Absolutely.
Even if he wanted to or tried to quietly behind the scenes. I just see the energy that she's showing me is just this quiet little thing that just sat there. And she was ginormous. Like, she ruled. And he's the one who would call her, she's just a stubborn old mule.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I knew he said that about me too, by the way. She might have had a few burnt suppers as well, she just said. Okay.
No, that's hilarious.
So she says that she's very sorry. Yawn, sometimes I can't read my writing after I write what they're saying. Hang on. I am sorry. Okay. It's hard. Okay. She's very sorry. As hard as it is to speak. So she's still struggling with that apology. Because it's very hard for her to admit she's wrong and admit when things have happened, but she understands that she needs to do it. But she also is telling me that she doesn't need to do it for herself, she needs to do it for you. Because she understands that your heart is caring, giving, forgiving, understanding, and she didn't feel worthy of receiving that. So she needs to let you know that she is sorry. Her choices or unkind way of living / loving affected many, and she's brought up both you and your sister. The choices that she made, she said, were not hers to make. And she's very sorry for what she has done. Then she's showing me union. So she does show me some like coming together. No thanks to her, is what she just said. No thanks to her. But she is sorry. Very sorry. She can't say she'll go back and change it though. Because she
can't do that.
No, but she's sorry right now. She's still very strong, very firm. Like, she's very. So I don't know what kind of flower this is. She showed me a flower. It's a purple flower. It's not like a daisy or a carnation thing, but I don't know. It's almost got like edges like this and comes around, and it's violet-y color and it gets lighter. Does that mean anything to you?
I think we put those on their graves.
That's just what she showed me. So again, that's just
They have purple in them.
okay. Just validating that she's with you and she recognizes those. So I also hear too, thank you, but if it wasn't for you, she knows that her grapes would not look the way they do. She just showed me like a shiny, like a sparkle.
Because I cleaned them.
Mm-hmm.
I cleaned the stones.
And she thanks you for that.
My father would always do that, and now he's passed, so
Mm-hmm.
when I go there, I do it.
Yeah, so she just said that, which your father is here too as well. So I wanted to go with her first, but she said he was alone a lot because of her.
Oh,
So
wow.
she can recognize that.
She recognizes that now.
Yeah, she takes ownership in that. And she realizes that he suffered because of that, even though she thought what she was doing was protect him. She really didn't want to share him.
Mm-mm.
She was very selfish with him, and that was her son. Her son. Very loud. Hers. Almost like, I don't want to say a piece of property, but he belonged to her.
Mhm.
But that was her greatest thing she'd ever done. That was the only place she felt completion, where she felt like she'd actually done something right. So he could do no wrong because his actions were a direct reflection of her own. She said, I'm learning. I'm learning. So this is the other thing, she wants you to find forgiveness, but she also doesn't want you to be the way you are and just love because you love. She wants you to truly be able to forgive her. She needs that. So she understands that comes in your time, and she understands you love her, but she needs you to forgive her as well. And she doesn't expect that today, but she needs you to work on that. Yes, she knows. She knows. She goes, does she hold a tissue in her hand?
I don't know.
Okay, because I see a tissue in her hand. It's like she always had one in her, and she's holding the tissue
Well,
in
I
her
know
hand.
Tom always had his handkerchief.
Okay,
And Peppo had his, so she.
okay. So that's what she's showing me. She understands. Just know that it's hard for her, even when I'm receiving the messages, like I hear where she wants to be like, I love you. But that is even hard for her to say, not because she doesn't love you, but nobody ever told her they loved her. And not an excuse, but she does not know how to still relay that. So seeking that forgiveness in hopes that you can forgive her, because she knows you have love in your heart, but she wants to be able to be like, I love you so much. But that is so scary for her to say that. Even now, because she knows that vulnerable, that rejection, that feeling of not being loved. And I know that goes deeper than you all, but you all suffered at the hands of that, because this is what she knew, and she is sorry for that. She can tell you she's sorry, and she wants you to forgive her when you can and you're ready. She understands. So is there anything else from her that you'd like to connect with? Okay. All right, I'm gonna let her go. Who's Mike? I just heard that name, Mike. I don't know. I'm gonna write it down.
Okay.
Literally, as soon as I asked her she could walk away, then I hear Mike. So hold on to Mike. I don't know what that has to do with or what that means, but again, not my place to decipher. So I know that we've had a session before where we've tried to connect with your dad, and your dad immediately, as soon as we sat down, which I had to connect with her first because she's been here all morning long. They get a little crazy sometimes. But with him, he came through, and he immediately showed me dimes. And I know you understand with what we do that there are no coincidences. So this morning, prior to getting ready, I had done my social media scroll, and I saw a post from someone talking about does spirit leave you dimes? And she pulled back her table where she does work on, and there was a dime folded underneath the folded sheets. And immediately, and again, this is how it happens, I see your dad. So this is just confirmation, which you already know, but 150% validation that he is the one leaving you dimes in the most random spots. And, you know, he's so light right now, and he's so free, and he is in so much peace now. It took a lot of going through. So, and this is something that I've never heard or understand, and this is the first time I'm hearing this, but he was where he was because of the way others felt and loved him and where they were with him. And I felt a lot of freeness and a lot of things that have lightened up that has allowed him to step up, a lot of forgiveness, even if it's not been spoken or even if consciously we may not be aware of the forgiveness we've had for him, but it's the showing up, and he sees it, he's there, he knows what's happening, and the fact that he's been released, there's anger's been released. Does that make sense? You understand what he's saying? Like, he feels the release from you guys, and it keeps being about you and your sister too, which is very strange because I didn't even know you had a sister until months ago, but it's about the both of you, and each of you are so different, and the journeys are the same and your emotions are the same, but you experience them differently, and he's the middleman in that part, but he feels where it was like this and he can feel this, and it was because of him. And even though he'd rather have brought this together when he was here, it didn't work like that, but everything happens the way it's supposed to. And no matter how bad it hurts and how much sense it does not make, that was what was supposed to happen, because he was unable to bring himself here. He isolated himself. He was a loner. He was by himself because he for so long had lived a certain way and was told certain things that when it was time for him to think on his own, he did not know how to do that. He suffered a lot of pain, and a lot of things happened to him. You know, you all see this love and this control in this woman who, that was her world, but it also in a lot of ways was unhealthy. And that is why he turned to other ways to try to cope, because he did not know how to express himself, to get things out, how to work it out. And instead of turning into this passive little bird that just sat in a corner and got scolded, he lashed out, but he lashed out at the wrong people because he couldn't lash out within those four walls. Do you understand? It's nobody's fault. It's not an excuse, but that is what happened, whether you knew that or not. But that is what happened and why he became who he became by choice. But because there's been a lightness, a release from the outside, it's allowed him to come forward. And he's going to continue to come forward and continue to leave dimes. I also saw wings when he showed me the dimes, almost like he earned his wings. So, and you understand that. That's something I'd like to keep between us, but you understand what that means. So, and I'm feeling so much emotion right now, which when that happens, that's not me wanting to cry. It's spirit's emotions coming through me to you guys, and he's very emotional right now. And he just keeps saying, you know, I could sit here and say how hard it was to get it, but I can't, it's not about me, it was about everybody else. It's because of you all is why he was able to release. You understand? And I had written down growth too. There's been so much growth for him. You know, a lot of times people ask me too, is my family together? Are they all sitting around together? They're together, but they're not. He's gone his separate way. He's finally found his freedom and independence, and he's taken his own route. There's still love and positivity around that, but it's not the throne and then the people beneath it. Do you understand what I'm saying? He's got his own missions now. And I'm gonna say, I know your sister's not here and this isn't about her, but he does have a lot of concerns surrounding her. She is holding on to a whole lot that is literally breaking her. It is destroying her inwardly. And that's what he's saying. He was like, that healing has to continue for her. She can be mad and angry and whatever, but he's gone. And it's literally rotting away at her. Like, I feel like it's gonna start making her get having stomach issues and
affect her physically.
Yes, but I see it. He's showing me like the stomach and just so. But it's her journey. But you can just continue to do what you're doing. You need to start speaking up, sister. Okay. Quit being quiet. Start speaking up. Okay. Okay, so, and I don't remember, I think you said, but he keeps showing me a Harley Davidson. Does Harley mean anything?
That's my dad, not my father.
Okay. I know the difference at this point. But he showed me the Harley to go with too, though. Are you sure there's nothing with your birth father and a Harley? Because this is not your father who raised you.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Well, I want you to hold on to that.
I don't know.
I want you to hold on to that because this is different than the first time we met.
Okay.
Because I you know, at this point knowing and showing, but he's showing me that. So I don't know what that is.
He's telling me I need a Harley.
He showed me the leather jacket. And I know who this is. Like, I can confirm that just because we have had this before.
Mhm.
So, moving into that with you saying that, that's one thing he's showing me. He does say dream big, but he does have some gratitude that you had that male figure in your life. But then he also has sadness surrounding it because knowing now, like, how and why and understanding. And we're not going to dive into that just because I feel like this is very personal and,
Mhm.
you know, we don't need to get that deep into it. But he carries regrets surrounding, which we have to let him let go of that regret because he can't change that now. But he's not real sure how to fully do that because all that energy comes from you guys. You understand? That's like, I've never had spirit share that so deeply with me. Like, that healing energy is from you guys because as you heal and release and let go, that's freeing him more of the demons, the hell that he holds in. But he does hold, because he sees all, he knows all at this point. So he understands. And he's sorry. But you know he's sorry.
Mhm.
And he thanks you for cleaning up his mess.
Wow.
Because it was more than one mess, though. And he also wants you to know that he didn't love one more than the other, even if it felt like that. His love was equal. And he is sorry that you ever felt that way. But that wasn't true. Okay? He wants you to know that. That's important for you to know. He has shown me open highway. He says, I'm going. So, I don't know. Did he ever want a bike? You don't know?
I
Well,
don't
that's
know.
what he showed me just now. So, he's going for his role.
Possibly.
Not everything came from your dad that raised you, by the way, he said.
Okay.
I think he's referencing the bike.
Yeah,
Not everything came from him. That's not the only reason why you love it. But how would you know?
exactly.
All right, girl. He loves you. He said, all right, girl, I love you. So, did you have anything else with him?
No.
Okay, I'll let him go too. All right. All right, my dear. So, do you have any questions about anything or? No. Do you feel okay?
I do.
Okay.
I feel good.
All right. So, I will tell you over the next, like, probably few weeks, things will start coming to you,
Mm-hmm.
coming up for you. You know, I always tell Ray, you're welcome to reach out if you have questions about anything, because it's a lot and it's overwhelming and it's all at once. So I just hope that you feel better than you did before you showed up, and you know that the people who need it and wanted to connect with you are the ones who came through today. All right, girl. I love you.
I love you.
I know, let me smile your face. All right. Good deal.